Hi guys, it's Mrs. Berg again. I am just letting you know that this week I'm only going to be doing 2 lessons. Why I'm only doing 2 lessons is because, to be honest, it's so much work. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and lie. It is a lot of work that you will be doing. So then that brings me into my next thing that I need to talk about. It is literally probably going to be impossible for you guys to show your work on any type of like a Google Doc, because there's just so much work. So you're more than likely going to have to either take a picture and send it to me of your homeworks and all your stuff that you're doing, or you are going to have your parents turn it in. Those are your only 2 options right now. There is just absolutely no other way around it. There's just so much work. So I'm not even going to have a Google Doc out there for you guys to give it to me. You're going to have to submit it to me by pictures. It's the only way it's going to work. And you'll soon realize why. I mean, it is a lot of work. So the things that we're going to be doing this week is I'm going to go over lesson 2.4. You are going to have a mid-chapter review to turn into me. You can again take a picture of that after you complete it and turn it into me. And then we're going to skip 2.5. So we're not doing 2.5 at all because it is on estimation. And remember, estimation, it's not a 5th grade standard. And we will be doing 2.6 though, which is a lot of work. I'm not going to sit here and lie. That is probably the most work, is lesson 2.6. And then of course I'm going to have you do one iReady lesson. So what I want you to do for this week for me is, again, 2.4, the mid-chapter review, 2.6, and one iReady lesson. So there are 4 things I need you to do this week for me. So that is what I would like you to do. Then next week, I'm going to have you do 2 lessons as well, because again, this is division. It is a lot of work. There's no way around it. So that's why I'm not giving you that much. Next chapter is going to be pretty easy. So I'm probably going to do maybe 4 lessons each week on that. But however, this chapter has a lot of work to it. So I'm trying to minimize it as much as I can. But next week, you're going to be doing 2.7, 2.8, chapter review, and one iReady lesson. So that's 4 things there too. So every week you're going to have 4 things. It's just only 2 long lessons, but you're going to have to do it with me. And I'm going to have to see all your work. So you are more than likely going to need to have a extra paper next to you, because I don't think this book gives you that much room to work out all your problems. So I'm just going to let you know you'll need to have extra paper as well. So just notebook paper. I even have notebook paper sitting here as well. So I am going to be switching it over and talking about what we are going to be doing today. So here's the first lesson. It is 2.4. Now I'm going to quickly tell you something as well. This tells you to do partial products method. All right, I have been doing this is my 14th year of teaching, and I have noticed that when I teach different methods, kids get very confused. So I am going to eliminate partial quotients completely. You will not be doing that method. We will still be sticking to our original one, is like dead monkeys smell crazy bad. I'm just going to be using just this method and just this method only, so that it eliminates confusion. So this is the only method that I will be teaching this year. So you will not be doing the partial quotients method. I think it's just going to be very, very confusing for kids. So I just want to do it all at once. Plus the middle school only uses the method that I use. So I'm trying to keep it all pretty much consistent with what they are doing so that they're not confused when I bring in a method to them that they don't know. So I am just going to be keeping this method. This is what you're going to be using next year. So I am just going to be using this one only. So you will not be doing the partial products method. So we're taking that out, but I still want you to work on your division. So that is what you're going to be doing. So on your homework, you are just dividing, but not using partial quotients method. All right, so this one, it says people in the United States eat about 23 pounds of pizza per person each year. If you eat that much pizza each year, how many years would it take you to eat 775 pounds of pizza? All right, so again, this is per person for 1 year. And then they want to know how many years will it take you to eat 775 pounds of pizza. So therefore, in order to do this, we would have to take the 775 pounds and divide it by what it is per year, which is 23. So we got to see how many 23s will go into 775. So I'm going to do this over here just using my normal division. So what number goes into the box? It is 775, not because it is the bigger number, but because it is the first number in the division problem. I want you guys to get that out of your heads again about how it is always the bigger number first, because that is going away this year. So because it is the first number, we are putting that one into the division problem, into the box. That is our dividend. And then our divisor here is 23. So here's the next thing. We actually have 2-digit divisors. Keep in mind, I don't want you to memorize your 23s by heart. So this is where I use a checking and guessing method to do 2-digit divisors. If you have no clue as to where to start, remember, each digit up here is only going to be 1 digit. You're either going to have 0 through 9. So up here in your quotients, you're never going to have like a 2-digit number in one spot. So you're only going to have 1 digit in each spot. So therefore, if 23 did go into 7, they would just be 1 number here, not 2. And to 77, they would just be 1 number up here, not 2. So what I mean is that each number is only the possibilities is either 0 through 9. Now, what I teach my students is to start right in the middle of this if they have no clue on where to go. And the middle would be starting at 5 because of a couple of reasons why. A lot of kids know their 5s, so that seems to be the faster one. And also, it is middle of the road between these. And then if that number is too high, then you know to bring it down lower. If the number is too low with 5, then you know to bring it up higher. So we will go over that. Just know that if you have you don't know where to start at 5. And never erase your work because you may need it back later on in the problem too, and you'll find that out soon as well. So to start this, you're going to say to yourself, can 23 go into 7? Well, guys, in order for it to go in at least once, this number over here has to be bigger than 23. 7 is not bigger than 23. It is actually smaller. So therefore, there is no way that it could go in once. Now, if I move it over, can at least 123 go into 77? You should be saying yes, because 77 is larger than 23. So at least 1 can go in. Now, here's the thing. We have to figure out how many times. So like I said, if you have no idea where to start with timesing it by 5 and go from there. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry your 1. That would be 10 plus 1 is 11. Now, this came out to be 115, which is higher than 77. So that means that that can't be true. it can't go in 5 times. It is too high. So because 5 is too high, now we're going to have to bring it down. Now you can bring it down one at a time, or you can skip around. I probably go right into the middle between 0 and 5 now, which is 3, and see what that does. So 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 2 is 6. So therefore, it is 69. There is no way I can get another 23 in there. So therefore, it is 69 is the closest to 77 that I could get. So I'm going to put a 3 up here. Then 3 times 23 is 69. So I'm going to put that underneath. Can I have 7 and take away 9? No. So you got to come over here and borrow. 17 minus 9 is 8. Then you do your check. Can 8 is smaller than your 23, so then bring down your next number. Now this is why I say to keep it, because you never know if you need it again. So you always should keep your work off to the side so you can refer back to it, because now we have to see how many 23s will now go into 85. Well, this and this, now we do have another number. Remember, this is 3 and this is 5. So let's try 4 and see where that leads us to. So 4 times 3 is 12, carry your 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And that is even too high. So therefore, the one that is close to 85 as possible without going over is 3 times. So that would be 69. And then can you have 5 and take away 9? No, you cannot. So you have to come over and borrow. 15 minus 9 is 6. And then 7 minus 6 is 1. So then check it. We are good. Is there any more numbers to bring down? No, there are not. So therefore, your remainder is 16. So you could write it like this, or you could write it like 33 and then do that little J method that I was talking about, where it's 16 over your divisor, which is the 23. Now again, remind your parents that if this fraction can be reduced, we are not reducing this year. It is not a 5th grade standard. You can keep it by alone. You don't need to reduce a fraction down. That's actually something you will be doing in 6th grade. So therefore, it would take like around 33 years with a remainder of 16. So more like almost 34 years to eat that much. So that is what you are going to be doing. So our answer is 33 with a remainder of 16. Or you could have again said 33 and 16 over 23, 16 23rds of a year. All right, so that is how you do that. Now we're going to move on to the next. Again, I am not going to be doing this way, and this is the only way that they're trying to show you, so I'm not even going to do that one. We're going to skip right down here. It says, I just want you to use just the normal method like I was talking about. So from 32, go into 1. No, it cannot. Can it go into 14? No, it's still too small. So can at least a 32 go into 145? So again, I don't think you should know your 32s by heart. So obviously you can use that method that I was trying to show you, that if you have no idea where to start at 5. So I'm going to start at 5 here because I have no idea where I'm starting. So 5 times 2 is 10, carry your 1. That would be 15 plus 1 is 16. And that is too high. So, but not by much though. It's high, but not by much. So I'm just going to bring this down 1. So I'm going to do a 4 times 32. That would be 8 and 12. And yes, that is as close as I'm going to get without going over. So then I'm going to put down 128. And then can you have 5 and take away 8? No, you cannot. So you're going to come over and borrow. That is now a 7, and that is a 1. And then check it. Is it smaller? Yes, it is. So then I can bring down my next number. And this is, again, why I want you to keep your work off to the side, because it is something to refer back to for the rest of the problem. So how many times does 32 go into 170? As close as it can without going over. Well, look here. This one is only 10 away. So there's no way that it can go in 6 times. It can only go in 5. So that would be 160. Subtract, that would be 10 remaining. So your answer would have been 45, remainder 10, or you could have said 45, and then remember the J method, then the remainder is 10 over your divisor, which is 32. And like I've already said, please let your parents know that if they're asking about fractions that need to be reduced, they'll ask you that. You do not need to reduce it this year. So you could keep it like this, and they will accept that as an answer. Reducing comes next year. I'll show you a little bit this year, but really it's not a standard that you don't have to do on your state tests, so don't worry about it. But if you want to know the J method, again, what you do is you take your quotient. So I'm going to write this, your quotient. And then if you're going to make it into a fraction, you have to put a remainder up on top. So in this case, our remainder was a 10. And then you're going to put it over your divisor, which our divisor in this case was 32. So that is how you make it into a fraction form, which is a reason why I'm showing you this, because you will come to this later on. So I'm just getting you ready for that. So you could have either of these two ways as your answer. All right, now we're going to go into more problems. It says to divide, use partial quotients. No, you will not, but you will be dividing. So can 18 go into 6? No, it cannot. So I'm going to put an X there. Can 18 go into 64? Yes, at least once. Now, again, it is up to you where you want to start. Some people want to start right at 5 because they have nowhere to start, and that is fine. You can start there. I'm actually going to start at 3 and see from there. So 8 times 3 is 24. Carry your 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And that is only 10 away. So therefore, there is no way I can get another 18 in there. So therefore, it only goes in 3 times. And this is why it's very important that you know your multiplication facts to make this process go a lot faster. So this is 54. And then that would be a 10. Check it. Is it smaller? Yes, it is. So then I can bring it down. Now, here's the next thing. We need to get to 108. Well, only 3 of them were 54. Well, 50 plus 50 is close to 100, so we probably want to double that, but that's completely up to you where you want to start. So I'm probably going to double it to see where that leads me. 8 times 6 is 48, carry your 4. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 4 is 10, and that gives me exactly what I wanted. So therefore, in this case, I have no remainder, and my answer is 36. My quotient is 36 there. All right, next. Can 62 go into 3? No, it cannot. How about into 31? Nope. How about into 318? Again, it is very hard for me to determine how many. So like I said, if you want, you could always go with the method of going at 5 and seeing where that leads you. So 5 times 2 is 10, carry your 1, and that would be 31. And that is only 8 away. So there is no way I can fit another 62 in there. So I'm going to put a 5, and then 5 times 62 is 310, so I put that underneath those numbers, and then I subtract, which is 8. Then I check it. I am good. Bring down your next number. How many 62s can go into 86? Well, you should be saying that can only go in once, because twice would be up in the 120s. So therefore, 1 times 62 is 62. Then you subtract. That would be 3 and 2. And then check and make sure you are smaller, which you are. So therefore, there is no more numbers to bring down. So this one actually has a much larger remainder. So this one is going to be 51, remainder 23. Or you could have said 51 and 23 over, so you could do that fraction, 23 over 62. These are your two options that you could have said. Now this next one, you got to set up the division problem. So this is 858 divided by 57. Can 57 go into 8? No, it cannot. It's too small. How about 85? If you know, like 50 plus 50 is like 100, so that only means that you could only go in once into this. And if you need to write it out over here and do the math behind it, you may certainly do that as well. I'm just trying to cut out a lot of work for you. So 5 minus 7, you can't do that. So you come over and borrow. 15 minus 7 is 8, and 7 minus 5 is 2. And then I check it and make sure I am smaller. And that is why I make that one of the steps, to make sure that you check, because if this number is bigger than this, then that means that you did something wrong up here. It could have gone in one more time. So since it is smaller, I'm on the right track, so I can bring down my next number. Can 57, how many times does 57 go into 288? Now this is, again, if I have no idea where to go, I could always start at 5. That's always the middle of the road. So you can always start there and then go up or down from there. So there, this is 35, carry your 3. This is 25, plus 3 is 28. And look at that. It gets very close. There is no way I can get any closer without going over. So therefore that goes in 5 times, because when you multiply that, it comes out to be 285. And you subtract, that would be 3 remaining. So therefore your answer on this one would have been 15, remainder 3, or you could have said 15 and 3 over 57. So one of these two I would accept as an answer. All right, now I do want you to try these on your own. Again, just using regular division, not using partial quotients. So please pause this. If you need to do it on another piece of paper, you may certainly do that. Please try these on your own. So please pause this and then come back with me to see how you did. So please pause now. All right, guys, so you should have paused and tried this out. So now we'll check and see if you are right. Can 73 go into 5? No, it cannot. How about 58? Nope, it cannot. It's still too small. So therefore, it can go in at least once into 584. Again, if you have no idea where to start, always start at the middle of the road of 5 and guess and check. So 5 times 3 is 15, carry your 1. That would be 35, plus 1 is 36. Now look at here. I have 365. I need to get as close to 584. I do believe I could still get some more in there, and I think it is very possible. So I'm actually going to maybe even go up by a little bit or even quite a bit. So in this case, I think I might even go up to a 9. I still got a lot to get there. So I'm going to try now a 9. I'm going to go up to the upper end. Remember, it could only go up to a 9. There's no possibility that it would go up to 10. It's only a 1-digit number. So 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to put a 7 down. Carry your 2. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 2 is 65. And if you look, that is too high now. So therefore, this is why it's called guessing and checking. You got to kind of see, okay, it is higher than 5, but it's got to be lower than 9. So now I'm going to just bring it down by 1, and we'll see from there. 8 times 3 is 24, carry your 2. Then 8 times 7 is 56, plus 2 is 58. And now look at that. It was 8. And then that comes out with no remainder. So therefore your answer is just 8. So your quotient is 8 there. All right, now going by 51s. Now remember, 50, 100, that's might be easier for us to remember. Can 51 go into 1? No, cannot. How about into 18? Nope, still too small. How about into 183? I think it can. Let's see, we can guess. Going by 50s, you're probably going to be around the 3-ish. So we can try 3. So that would be 3 and 15. And if you think it's possible to get in one more, you could definitely, and I would suggest you do that just to be on the safe side. Go up one more just to make sure. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And that is too high. So therefore, 3 was as high as it could possibly go. And now you subtract. That would be 0 and 3. Then you check it. You are good. So now we can bring down our next number. Then you guess from here. Now again, go by 50s. Some people might say, you know, maybe 6. So we'll try 6. So it would be 6 and then 30. And look at that. That is just barely smaller. Bigger. So therefore, that is too big. So we can't use that. So therefore, that means we have to go down 1. And that would be a 5 and a 25. So yes, it goes in 5 times. And this is going to be actually a pretty big remainder. So we'll see here. I have 1. Can I take away 5? No, you cannot. So now I'm going to come over here. I can't even take 1 from there. So now this becomes a 10. Now I can give 1 up. So now this becomes a 9. And now it's 11 minus 5 is 6. And then a 4. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. So check it. Is it smaller? Yes, it is. So therefore, my answer is 35 with a remainder of 46. Some kids don't think that that is possible, that you could have a remainder that is bigger than your quotient, and you most certainly can. You're actually not wrong in saying this. You can have something like that. Or if you wanted to write it as a fraction, it would have been 35 and 46 over your divisor of 51. So these are your 2 answers that you could have had. All right, next going into this one, can 82 go into 2? No, it cannot. How about into 29? Nope, too small still. Now I'm going to come over here. Again, if you have no idea, like I said, you can always go to your 5. I think that's just the best option for you because a lot of kids know their 5s. So that would be 10, carry your 1. This is 40 plus 1 is 41, and that is too high. So this is where I can, and it's high by quite a bit. So I'm actually going to probably knock it down a couple times and see where that brings me. That would be 6 and 24. And, you know, that could look to some people like it could go in one more time. So since we did skip a number, you may certainly check it to make sure. This would be 8 and 32. And therefore that is too high. So therefore as closest as you can get to 296 without going over is 3 times. Because 3 times 82 is 246, which would be 50 left over. Check it. We are good. Then bring down your 4. Now, how many 82s? We'll go into 504. Now, if you kept all your work, which you should have, this is why I do keep my work off to the side so I can go back and check. Now, remember, 5 is still small, so let's bring it up by one more. So that would be 12. One more, that would be 48 plus 1 is 49. So yeah, you're not going to get any closer than that. So that would go in 6 times because that would be 492. Now can you have 4 and take away 2? Yes, that would be 2. Then this is really saying 50 minus 49 if you look at it. And 50 minus 49 is 1. So therefore, then check. We're good. Is there any more numbers to bring down? No, there is not. So therefore, your answer could have been 36 remainder 12, or if you were writing it as a fraction, it would have been 36 and then 12 over 82. Again, about the reducing of fractions, tell your parents not to worry about it. Again, it's not a 5th grade standard. That is what you're going to definitely do up in 6th grade. So don't worry about reducing. All right, now this one, our dividend is 892 because it is the first number in the division problem, and then 26 is our divisor. So can 26 go into 8? No, it cannot. Can it go into 89? I'm going to try first 4. And then that comes out to be 104, which is too high. So I'm going to just drop it down 1. I'm going to try 3. That would be 18, carry your 1. And that would be 7. So 78, yes, is as close as I'm going to get. So that would be 1 and a 1. Check it. I am good. So now I'll bring down your 2. And then how many, look at here, it's 104. There's no way I can get another 26 in there. So therefore that would go in 4 times. That would be 104. And then here, can you have 2 and take away 4? No, you cannot. But you can have 12 minus 4 after you borrow, and that would be 8 remaining. So therefore you could have said remainder 8 or 34 and 8 over 26. All right, next. 48 goes into 1056. So 1056 is your dividend. Here's your divisor. Can 48 go into 1? You should say no, it's too small. How about 10? Nope, still too small. How about 105? Yes, it can go in at least once. But going by 40s, I'm going to try 2. So 8 times 2 is 16, carry your 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So therefore this is 2 times, because that is as close as it's going to get. Then you come over here. Can I have 5 and take away 9? Oh, sorry, 5 and take away 6? No, you cannot. So you got to come all the way over here. This becomes a 0, which becomes a 10. Now you can give up 1, so that's a 9. Now it is 15 minus 6 is 9, and 9 minus 9 is 0. So then I can check it. We are good. Then I can bring down my next number. How many 48s go into 96? Oh, we already have that answer. It is right here, which comes out to be exactly 22 with no remainder. So that is, my quotient here is 22. Next, 67 can go into 2,950. So 2,950 is my dividend. And now we got to see how many times 67, our divisor, can go into this number. So can 67 go into 2? Nope, it's too small. How about 29? Nope, still can't have not even 1. How about 295? Yes, it could go in at least once. So this is, again, what I'm saying. If you have no idea where to start, always start at 5. It's right in the middle of the road. Just your best bet. So 7 times 5 is 35, carry your 3. And 5 times 6 is 30, plus 3 is 33. Now again, why I pick 5 is because it's in the middle of the road, and then you don't have to start out at 2 and then keep going up, then there's trying 3, then 4, then 5. That's just too much work. So to cut out a lot of work, go right in the middle of the road, and then you can go up and down from there so that you're not wasting so much time doing a lot of work on these. So if you look, 335 is higher than 295. So I went over, but not by much at all. So I'm going to actually bring this down by 1. So 67 minus 4, that would be 28, carry your 2. That would be 24, plus 2 is 26. And that is as close as I'm going to get without going over. So can I have 5 and take away 8? No, you cannot. Then 15 minus 8 is 7, then 2. Then check it. It is too small. So still small, so that's good. We're on the right track. Now, if you look around, how many times does 267 go into 270? Well, if you look, oh, look at this one. This one is super close, and that is 4 times again. Super close without going over is what we want. So therefore, our answer would have been 44 remainder 2, or if you want to put it in a fraction format, it would have been 44 with 2 over 67. So that was your answer. One of those would have been accepted. Now, if you want to do more, you by all means can do more on a different sheet of paper. So here's more options for you to do. But I'm going to move on to this. The 5th grade is having a picnic this Friday. There will be 182 students and 274 adults. Each table seats 12 people. So how many tables are needed? So in order to do something like this, there's actually 2 steps that need to go on here. First of all, if we're going to have a picnic, first of all, we need to see how many people are going to be here total, and then we can divide them by how many people or how many tables that there are. So in order to figure out how many people there are, we should be adding 182 plus 274 to figure out how many total people that is. Then when we figure out all the people, then we should be dividing it by how much can be seated at each table, which is 12. So first, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to add this up. Oops. I'm going to add these. That is a 1, by the way, my fault. 4 plus 2 is 6. This is 15, carry your 1. And then that is 4. So therefore, this is 456 people are there, but each table only holds 12. So we got to see how many 12s will go into this number. So therefore, we got to divide our dividend. It's going to be 456, and we're going to divide them amongst tables of 12. So the one good thing about our multiplication chart is that it does go up to 12, and since 12 is our divisor, That can save us some time right now. Can 12 go into 4? Absolutely not. It cannot. Can 12 go into 45? Well, here we can look how close to 45 can we get without going over. Oh, it was 36, which is 3 times. So we can save some time there. So that would be 3. That would be 36. Can you have 5 and take away 6? No, we cannot. So borrow. Now that becomes 9. Check it. We are good. Then how many 12s will go into as close to 96 as possible? So as close to 96 as possible. Oh, here's 96. So that goes in 8 times. So 8 times 12 is 96 with nothing remaining. So therefore your answer is 38 tables will be needed. Okay, now we are going to go on to the next page. So here we go. Now it says, now look over here, it says each year, each person in the United States eats about 64 quarts of popcorn. This means like an average person. This is how much they eat a year. The average person eats 53 pounds of bread, and each year everyone, the average person, eats 19 pounds of apples and 14 pounds of turkey. So here is the question. How many years would it take for a person in the United States to eat 855 pounds of apples? So we want to know how long will it take them to eat 855 pounds of apples, but we got to figure out what that is per year. How much do they eat per year of apples? That is 19. So we want to know how many 19s will go into this number to tell us how many years. So this is telling us what 1 year is. We want to know how many years will take us to get to that. So we got to divide this. So I'm going to do that over here. 855, and then this would be 19. Can 19 go into 8? No, it cannot. It's too small. How about into 85? It can go in at least once. So this is where you can definitely guess and check. If you have no idea where to guess, always start at 5. It is your best bet. So I'm going to start at 5 here. That's 45, carry 4, and that would be 9. So that is 95, which is too high. By 10. So that means I got to knock this down by 1. So instead of it being 5, I'm going to bring it down to make it smaller by 1. So I'm going to go to 4. That would be 36, carry your 3. And that would be 4 plus 3 is 7. So as close as I'm going to get is 4. So that would be 76. Can I have 5 and take away 6? No, I cannot. Now 15 minus 6 is 9. Check it. I am good. So now bring down the next number. How many 19s will go into 95? And this is again why I say to always don't erase your work, because you never know when you need to refer back to it. And this is perfect because I have it down already. It does go in 5 times automatically. So my answer is 45 years to eat that much. All right, now it's asking how many years would it take a person to eat 1,120 pounds of turkey. So they want to know how long it will take us to eat 1,120 pounds of turkey, and how much does it take the average person a year to do. To eat, it is 14 pounds. So the average person does 14 pounds for 1 year. Now, how many years will it take us to get to this? So in order to do that, I would need to do 1,120 divided by 14. So I'm going to come over here and do it over here. 1,120 divided by 4. 14. Can 14 go into 1? No, it cannot. How about into 11? No. How about into 112? Again, if you have no idea where to start, always start with 5. So that's what I'm going to do. That would be 20, carry your 2. That would be 5 plus 2 is 7. So I'm quite a bit away. So that is up to you where you want to go. You're obviously going up. I'm just going to go to a 9. That would be 36. Carry your 3. That is 9 plus 3 is 12. And that is too high, but not by a ton. So I'm going to actually just bring it down 1. That would be 32. Carry your 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. Oh, and look at that. That comes out absolutely correct with no remainder on that. So that is 8 times. So that would be 112. And when you subtract it, that'd be 0. Check it. We are good. But do we have a number, another number to bring down? Yes, we do. So we need to bring it. How many 14s will go into 0? That is 0. 0 times 14 is 0. So that is 0 remaining. So your answer is it would take 80 years for the average person to eat that much turkey. All right, next. If 6 people in the United States each eat the average amount of popcorn for 5 years, how many quarts of popcorn will they eat? So they're wanting 6 people in the United States to eat the average amount. So the average amount of popcorn is 68 quarts. So they want not just one person to do that, they want 6 people. So 6 times our number is 68. But remember, this is just for 1 year, but now they want us to know how much would be it for 5 years. So then you're going to actually times whatever this is by 5. Now, remember with the commutative property, I can switch some of these around that I think are easier to multiply together, since 5 and 6 are pretty easy to multiply. We can skip a step by just figuring out what 6 times 5 is. Commutative property allows us to do that. 6 times 5 is 30. So I'm going to combine those and then times by 68. So this is what I need to do to figure it out. So I am actually going to be, I'm actually running out of room. I'm going to do it right here. Let's see if I can write small. So 0 goes into 8 0 times. That would be, again, 0. Then this gets cut, bring it on down. Then 3 times 8 is 24, carry your 2. And 8, this is 18 plus 2 is 20. So your answer is 0, then 4, then 0, and 2 when you add that. So it is 2,040 quarts of popcorn. All right, next. Make sense out of problems. In the United States, a person eats more than 40,000 pounds of bread in a lifetime if he or she lives up to be 80 years old. Does the statement make sense, or is it nonsense, and explain? All right, so they're talking about bread in a lifetime of somebody eating this for 80 years. So 1 year for bread is 53. So in order to figure this out, I would have to do 53 was 1 year, but they're saying, how about if you live to be 80 and eating this for 80 years, you would have to times it by 80. Now, what you could do is you could like kind of estimate this and bring it down to easy. So this would be more closely to 50 times 80. And let's see what this number comes out to be. So if you check how many zeros are at the ends, there are 2 zeros. And then you are left with 8 times 5, which is 40. So actually, it's going to be right around 4,000, not 40,000. So therefore, this is nonsense. It will be closer to 4,000 pounds. I'll just say LBS, that's pounds. and not 40,000. All right, this one says, in a study, 8 people ate a total of 1,566 pounds of potatoes in 2 years. If each person ate that same amount each year, how many pounds of apples did each person eat in just 1 year? So guys, first of all, this is what 9 people eat this much, but not just in 1 year, in 2 years. So in order to figure out what each person ate in 2 years, first I would have to take this amount and divide it by 9 people to figure out how much each person ate. Just one person eats. So I'd first have to divide it by 9. Then that is going to give me how much just one person ate in the 2 years. But they're saying they want to know not just one person in 2 years, they want it in just 1 year. So then after I do that, then to cut it, and I would have to cut it in half, or actually divide it by 2 to figure out what is just 1 year. So I am going to do this, 1,566 divided by 9. 9 can't go into 1, but it can go into 15 one time. That would be 6. Then check it, I am good, so I can bring down my other 6. That can go in 7 times. That'd be 63 with 3 remaining. Bring down your next 6. How many 9s go into 36? Would be 4. That would be 36 with nothing remaining. So therefore this is 174 pounds will be for each person, but that was in a 2-year period, and we just want to know what 1 period is. 1 year, so we would have to divide it by 2, cut it in half. So in order to do this, I'm going to divide it by 2 or cut it in half and figure it out. It cannot go in once. 2 can go into 17 8 times. That would be 16. When you subtract, that would be 1. Check it. We are good. So now I can bring down my next number. How many 2s can go into 14? That'd be 7 with 14 and 0 remaining. So therefore, each person would do 87 pounds per year. Per year. All right, this one just says to divide, just find the using partial quotients. I'm not going to have you do that part, but I do want you to divide it out and try it on your own and find the quotient and the remainder. You don't have to explain, just show your work behind it. So go ahead and pause this right now and go ahead and try it one more time to divide this out on your own and see if you got the right answer. All right, so you should have paused it. So now I'm going to be doing this with you. Can 24 go into 4? No, it cannot. Can it go into 49? Yeah, it can go in at least once. So I'm actually going to try it times 2. That would be an 8. Oh, yep. So that goes in twice with 48, which means 1 is remaining. Check it. I am good. So I can bring down my next number. Now, how many 24s can go into 15? Well, you should be saying that's too small. So therefore, it can't even go in once. It could go in 0 times. So that would be 0 with 15 remaining. So therefore, your answer here would have been 20, remainder 15, or if you wanted to write it as a fraction, it would have been 20 and 15 over 24. So 20 and the remainder over the divisor. So that is what you should have had, one of these 2. All right. So now I'm going to go over your homework. Again, this is the reason why that is just so much work. There's not any reason why I'm just getting an answer. I want to see all of this because on the state test, they're going to want to see all this, and I need to make sure that you guys know this. And especially next year, this is what they're going to be doing. It's all going to be working it out. So you got to start learning it now. So it's very important that you show all your work, and it's actually exactly what I'm going to be writing up here is show your work. Must. So like I said, either take a picture of this and then, attach it to the message, the assignment for me, and then submit done. I need to see these. Or you can have your parents turn it in to me, or they can email me. I'm actually going to put down my email is they could actually email me your pictures. This is my email. So it's got to be one or the other. Either you guys take a picture and submit it onto your assignment, or have them bring it to the school and put it in the drop-off box for 5th grade, or you can just have them email it to kristen.berg@genevaschools.org. One of these methods is what I need. So also the other thing I want you to write here is you are just going to use regular division, not the partial quotients. And then to remind you of how you divide, remember it's dead monkeys smell crazy bad. So there are your steps. All right, so remember this means divide, this means multiply, this means to subtract, this means to check, and this one means to divide, bring down. And when you bring down, you start up at dividing again. So remember if you have no idea where to start, always start right in the middle, and then you can work up or down based off of that. So we are actually going to do this one together. I have some space, so I'm going to put it down here. Again, if you write it on a separate sheet of paper, which you are more than welcome to do, just make sure that not only are you taking a picture of this, you are taking a picture of your work as well. And I'm going to start knocking off points if I don't see your work for each one, not just in total. I mean, for every single one, I have to knock off points. So it is very important that I'm seeing your work. So wherever your work is, if you put it on another sheet of paper, please make sure you have a picture of that too, and you attach it to the assignment as well, or I will be taking a point off for every problem that you don't show me your work. All right, so 36, can 36 go into 5? No, it cannot. Can it go into 54? Yes. So I am going to try 2 and see what that does. That would be 12, carry your 1. And that would be 6 plus 1 is 7. So that is too high. So therefore 2 is too high. So then that means I could only go in once. 4 minus 6 you can't do. So you got to come over and borrow. Now 14 minus 6 is 8. 4 minus 3 is 1. Check it. We are good. So now we can bring down our next number. Now how many 36s will go into 180? Again, if you have don't know where to start, always start middle of the road. That will always help you. So this is 5 I'm going to start with. That would be 30. This is 15 plus 3 more is 18. And look at that. That is exactly what I wanted. So that goes in 180 with nothing remaining. So therefore, my answer to this one was 15. Make sure you box in your answer of what your final answer is. So my final answer is 15. So I want you to do number 3 and number 6 for homework. I am going to do 4 and 5 with you. Here we go. So the dividend needs to go in the box, which is the first number, and then 28 goes on the outside. Can 28 go into 5? Nope, it's too small. How about 51? Yes, it can go in at least once. So I'm actually going to try 2 times, see what that does. That is 16, carry your 1. That would be 4 plus 1 is 5. That is 56. So it is over 51. So therefore, it only goes in 1 time. That'd be 28. 1 minus 8, you can't do. So you're going to come over here. 11 minus 8 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. Check it. It better be smaller. And since it is, I'm on the right track. Bring down the 4. Now, 28 go into 234. Only twice was only 56. So we got a ways to go. So if you want to try at 5, that is up to you. I'm actually going to go way up to 9 and see what that does. That would be 72, carry your 7. That is 18 plus 7 is 18 plus 7 is 25, which is over my number, but not by much. So I'm just going to drop it by 1. This would be 64, carry your 6. 8 times 2 is 16 plus 6. So 16 plus 6 is 22. And you're not going to get any closer to that. So it does go in 8 times. That'd be 224. By the way, what I'm doing over here is called guessing and checking. So you can always guess and check and then go from there. So that is what that method is called. All right, so therefore this is a remainder of 10. And that is all the numbers. So therefore my answer, I'm either going to say 18 remainder 10, or if I want to put it in fraction form, it would have been 18 and 10 over 28. Remember, the fraction form is the quotient by the remainder, and then the divisor is last. So therefore, these are your answers. Again, I know this can be reduced, but again, that is not a 5th grade standard, so I don't even want to show you that yet. I'll be showing you that probably around chapter 6, but you don't need to do that on the state test. So you can keep it just like that, and they will accept that as an answer. All right, next. Your dividend is 322 divided by 14. Can 14 go into 3? No, it cannot. Can it go into 32? Yes, it can. So I'm going to guess, it's pretty close, so I'm going to go 2. That would be 28. Yep, there's no way I can get another 14 in there. So therefore it goes in 2 times. 2 times 14 came out to be 28. Can I have 2 and take away 8? No, I cannot. So 12 minus 8 is 4. Check it. We are good. So then bring down your next number. Now, remember, this is twice. So this is like, close to doubling it, but it is totally up to you. I'm probably going to go up 2 more, see if it's close. So 4 times 4 is 16, carry your 1. It would have been 4 plus 1 is 5. So that's 56, too high. So therefore, I'm going to go right in the middle, which is that 3. We skipped out on that 3. So let's see what the 3 does. That would be 12, carry your 1, and 4. And that is exactly what we wanted. So that would be 42. Your answer would have been 23 there. So you will be told to do these 2. Again, I want to see your work as well, so you can do it here or you can do it on another sheet of paper, but wherever you do it, I want that paper that you do your work on attached as well to the assignment, or have your parents take pictures of both this paper and your work paper as well. All right, and then you're also going to do number 7. You're going to cross out number 9, but we are going to do number 8 together. A pond at a hotel holds 4,290 gallons of water. The groundskeeper drains the pond at a rate of 78 gallons of water per hour. How long will it take to drain the entire pond? So this is going to go every hour. It will take out 78 gallons. But this is how big it is. So we got to see how many hours it's going to take to get rid of all of this. So how many 78s to get to that number? So therefore, in order to do this, this is our dividend divided by 78. So now we're going to do that work. 4,290, 78. Can 78 go into 4? No, it cannot. Can it go into 42? No, it cannot. Can it go into 429? Yes. And like I said, if you have no idea where to start, always start middle of the road, which is a 5. This would be 40, carry your 4. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39. So therefore, 78, I don't think I can fit another 78 in there, but just to make sure, I'm going to check one more time. This is 48, carry your 4. This is 42, plus 4 is 46. So there we go. That is too high. So therefore, it only goes in 5 times. That would be 390. 9 minus 0 is 9. Can I have 2 and take away 9? Nope. How about 12 minus 9 is 3. Check it. Am I smaller? I sure am. So then I'm going to bring down my next number. How many 78s will go into 390? Oh, I already have that answer. It is right here. So therefore, that goes in 5 times. That would be 390. Subtract, that would be 0. So therefore, your answer is 55 hours. So that is what you will be doing. Also on the back, you are actually going to be doing all of them on the back. So I do want you to try all 6 of these as well. All right, and then I'm going to go over what is next, which is your mid-chapter review. And I already took out some things I want you guys to. I don't want you to do number 1, so completely cross that out. However, I do want you to explain how to use multiplication to check a division problem. Use like your vocabulary words like quotient, divisor, dividend, use those kind of words. Then I want you to divide these out. Please show your work. And then these ones, I still want you to divide too. However, just take out use partial quotients. You will just be using your normal division. So that is what I want you to be doing next. And then I want you to do the entire back side as well. So all of this needs to be done. And then you can submit a picture of this to me as well. And then I will release a video the following week, next week, to show you the answers on this. But I'm not going to release it until this is due. This is going to be due Saturday of this coming week. So Saturday is the last time I will accept this. So it needs to be done by Saturday. And then Sunday, I will be putting out all the answers to this. So please make sure you do that. All right, and then we are going to be skipping 25. So you can completely cross that out. And then we will go on to 2.6. So I am going to stop the video now because I don't have enough battery to go over that. So we will stop right here and I will continue when I charge my phone again. Okay, bye guys.